Hi everyone. This discussion is about background research and note taking. I want to talk about writing background research questions. The first thing you must consider is that questions need to be general. Okay? Why are they important? They help you focus on what you need to know, and they help you with your experimentation and also experimental design. Writing background research questions. Well, most research projects should have approximately 4 to 6 questions. 2 questions about your entity, 2 about your dependent variable, 1 question about your independent variable, and 1 question for the connections between the independent and the dependent variable. Remember, on the question sheet in the back of the chapter, don't write statements, you have to write questions. And make sure they're generalized so you can get a lot of detailed information when answering them. All of these questions will eventually help you lead to your objective for your project and will help you formulate a very definitive hypothesis, a hypothesis that's testable. Just a quick point, working in groups, I would suggest using Google Groups and also Wikipedia, wiki spaces like we set up in class. Google Groups, Google Docs is great because you can work on the same document at the same time, and you can upload that document to wiki spaces for me to check, or you can invite me as a member of your Google Doc, and I can go in and correct that also. Identifying reliable scientific sources. So you want to get scholarly research, research that's original, and it doesn't always have to be original. Remember, you can get review articles too, where a expert in the field reviews many original research papers. These are great because they could be used as like it's almost the same as reading a chapter in a textbook. So review articles are scholarly research also, and are found in scholarly journals. And also, for the most part, in order to design your project, you're going to have to get original journal articles and so original research. So the reason it's scholarly is because it's done by an academic, and scholarly research is peer reviewed. So you absolutely definitely have to have journal articles that were original research projects. And then if you need some extra supplementary material, you can get some review articles, you can get books. Some cases you guys can't. You're gonna have to use, like say, a manual. If you're like working on a, let's say, a Lego robot, you're gonna have to get the manual of how to program that Lego robot. So that would be a source that's an invaluable source that you have to use. Um, Also, there are certain instances where you're gonna have to use internet sites, which are fine. This is a list of how to of websites, and then you can retrieve scholarly research. Remember, we've been mostly using Google Scholar and PubMed. Try these other ones out and see what you think. You make sure as you record the name of the resource, the information came from on the page. And we'll talk about organizing notes in a second. But first, I want to talk about documentation. There are many different types of documentation styles. There's Science Research Handbook talks mostly about MLA, and they teach you on chapter 10 how to do MLA. Another very common one is the APA. I want you guys to do the Council for Science Editors, the CSE, which I highlighted. I want you to use the citation sequence system. And on our independent science research page, I have actually 8 websites and 1 PDF on how to document your sources. Plus, if you look at the video I provided for you on YouTube, you'll be able to learn how to um, uh, do your resources, or set up your resources, or write them up in CSE format, and learn how to take notes properly. So you have to check that out. Okay. So the 2 types of note taking methods are the note card method and the notebook method. So we'll talk about the and then so resources for note taking. Yeah, as I talked to you about, there are some websites you can take your notes on, and then a Scrivener, which I was highlighting in school a lot, and Ulysses and Daedalus. Okay, and then when you're doing that's for note taking, and then when you need to do resources, there are two great programs. EndNote is both for Mac and PC. Oh, and I just want to let you know that Scrivener is also for Mac and PC. And Bookends, which is only for Mac. And they actually do the endnotes for you, the reference section for you. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is note card method of organizing background research. You create research question cards. So you give each research question a number and you write the question there. Then the next thing, you create bibliography cards. For each resource you create, you write exactly down the information using the CSC style on a single card, and you assign it a letter. So if you have 20 sources, I guess 26 sources would be A to Z. And I guess after that you go AABB or whatever. But you would letter your journal articles and number your questions. I mean, there's other ways to do this too. You can number your bibliography and letter your questions, but it doesn't matter. And then you have note cards. So you begin taking notes on the note card. So in the upper left-hand corner, you put the question. In the upper right-hand corner, you put the bibliography entry that you have, the bibliography letter. And then the bottom right-hand corner, you put the pages that you got it from. If you're using a web page from the internet, please put the paragraph. Don't put the page, okay? And then in the middle, you're writing phrases in your own words about the information from the resources. You're writing phrases in your own words, not in sentences, in phrases. Pros of the note card system: the cards can be shuffled or reorganized, which makes writing the paper easier. Cons of the note card system: you can lose the cards because they're loose. So a couple of ways to prevent them from getting loose and losing them: you could hole punch them and put metal rings in them, or you could use a recipe box with tabs to separate the research questions. So the one I want you guys to use is the notebook method of organizing background research. Why? Because you're going to do it on a word processor such as Word, or MLL, Scrivener, Ulysses. Okay? You can also do it in a spiral-bound notebook or composition book. So the first thing you should do is generate your bibliography page. So bibliography information page, you're going to have, you can make it in columns if you want, like this too. You have your list A, B, C, D, and each one you put in CSC format, their bibliography information. And what you could do is you take notes. So what happens is you put your research question on each page, right? And then you make 3 columns. One will have the bibliography letter. 2 will have the page or the paragraph you got it from if it's a website. And then you'll write your notes in your own words. And you write them in phrases, as I said. It's very important. Write them in phrases. So for journal articles, you're going to say what page it came from, and an internet source is going to say what paragraph it came from. The reason I want you to use the notebook method is because the notes are organized by research question, which can be further organized into paragraphs. What you're going to end up doing is you're going to convert the question into a topic sentence for a paragraph, and then you're going to fill in all the blanks with the notes that you took. And you're going to create those phrases into sentences. Okay? So now I want to talk about plagiarism. So plagiarism is electronically copying and pasting any author's work, including text, photos, images, or graphs. It's a very serious offense. So avoid plagiarism when taking notes. So you should take notes when you take notes. Take notes in your own words. So what's a way to do this? Well, you read a paragraph, close the resource, and then from your own memory write your notes. Write short phrases that summarize. Don't write complete sentences. And then just want to recheck your notes to make sure that you correctly interpret the content as well as the intent of the author. Okay? And if you're quoting the author, put down, you can write notes but with quotations, so you remember to put it in the paper as quotations. And when you're writing the paper, you know, you should have a minimum of 2 different sources to back up each new idea in a paragraph. Remember, you're collecting and organizing information from experts that will allow you to introduce and discuss your research project. Anything that you put in your paper must be documented at the place in the text where you use it, in addition to the reference section in the back. There's 2 places. inside the text of the body and in the back of the paper. Using quotations, right? Use quotations sparingly. Save the quotes for well-worded phrases that lose meaning when reworded, I should say. If you're using quotations, make sure the author's name is integrated into the text. For example, in this book, Sagafy states, comma, open quote, it is essential to use quotations sparingly, period, close quote, and a superscript is number one to cite where you got this information from. You could say Jacobs et al. Describes the virus particle as, quote, open quote, I should say marvelous, close quote, if that's what you want to say. So there were some technology research tools. They talked about RSS feeds and reading lists. RSS is kind of out of vogue now. Google Reader, they eliminated, and Apple eliminated RSS readers in their web page and their mail app. So I don't know how important it is, so I eliminated it from this discussion. Just make a point when you conduct searches within databases. You can use Boolean expressions and or not. They help you weed out search results that are not relevant to your topic when doing a search on the internet. And also, look at Google search operators. You can type in Google search operators. You'll find different ways to narrow down articles or information you're looking for. I really encourage you guys, looking at or emailing a scientist. So when you email a scientist, you don't know what to say. They have a nice thing in this book. It has to be formal, right? So you have to say, like, Dear Dr. Smith or Dear Dr. Jacobs, right? And you could say how you found the person, what article you read or the website, who you are, and where you're from. I'm a student at Lincoln High School in the science research program working on such and such a project. You can mention my teacher's Dr. Sagafy, give him my email address and my phone number, cell phone number, to contact me to make sure that, to verify that, your information. And then a clearly you stated request. So, for example, could you answer 3 questions for me? Could I interview you in a Skype conference call? I'm having a problem with my research design. You got to be specific. And then how do you suggest I address this? Would you be willing to be my mentor throughout my project? And then you put your contact information. You say sincerely yours or sincerely, acknowledging the person's expertise and making sure the person knows your value of sure that the person knows you value his or her time, and then sign off. Okay? Do not. Okay? No casual language, bro, man, yo, or if it's Dr. Bill Jacobs, hey Bill. No, none of that. And no I am language, LOL and that stuff. Has to be formal. Okay? It has to be formal. And be very specific with your question. They want to, you already have read their information, their stuff, so when you have a question, it'd be something that you can't find on the internet. And don't attach your paper. Okay, everybody, this concludes this lecture on how to take notes and how to get resources and how to create background research questions. If you have any questions, please be free to contact me. All right, take care now.